Good evening, and welcome to Educate Our Youth. Our guest speaker this afternoon is Beaty. She's a career counselor at WIOA. I'm your host, Janet Keith Thompson. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the Mamie Keith and Aline Bradley Educational Foundation, also known as Educate Our Youth. The mission of Educate Our Youth is to make college more accessible through programs such as mentoring, education, professional development, and other programs that we offer, such as SAT, ACT workshops. We offer financial literacy. We offer assistance when applying for financial aid. We offer young entrepreneurship and athletes over academics. So good evening, Danae. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing well. Good evening. How about you?
I'm great. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, as you said, my name is Naday. I'm a career specialist with WIOA. I mainly work out of the Georgetown office. However, WIOA is in Kingstree, Georgetown, and Horry County. I'm originally from New Jersey, moved to South Carolina for school, and I just haven't left.
Oh, great. So you love our state?
Yep, love South Carolina.
Great. Well, let's talk about WIOA. What does that stand for?
WIOA stands for Workforce and Innovative and Opportunity Act. It was passed by the legislation in 2014, and it is a program that is designed to strengthen and improve our nation's public workforce system and job seekers such as adult, youth, and dislocated workers with significant barriers to employment.
Okay, and you did say you serve Georgetown, Williamsburg, and Horry, correct? Those three counties?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and who do you serve in those counties?
Youth, and that would be ages 16 to 24. Dislocated workers, that's anyone that has been, laid off or I guess you would say resigned from a position due to no fault of their own, and adults, which is 25 and up.
Oh, okay. So tell us about the services that you offer.
So WIOA has a gamut of services. There's pretty much something for anyone that is looking to get into the workforce or looking to get into a new occupational field. A couple of services that we offer are assistance with obtaining a GED, paid work experience, or on-the-job training, both which are paid, as I said, to get you some skills that you may need hands-on training for rather than going to a formal training in a brick and mortar school. We offer workshops to enhance soft skills, resume and cover letters, interviewing skills, and financial literacy. And the list of workshops that we have goes on and on. We have career exploration for some people that don't really know what they want to do. Or some people that will say, I want to be in the medical field, but I don't know where. Well, let's go ahead and look a little bit more into that to see where exactly you would fit in. Classroom training, of course, if you are looking to go to school for a certification or a degree, associate's degree is as high as we go. We can also assist with those services and paying for school.
So, where are these places? Where do they go to get these services? Is there a particular location, or do they go to a school, or do y'all have an office that they visit to receive these trainings?
Gotcha. So WIOA is what I think of as like a liaison between the student and the provider. So a lot of the people that we have coming in, they may have not been to school before, or they are, trying to get into a new industry. So they need a little bit of assistance of where to go and who I need to speak to. So WIOA would provide them with information regarding providers in the area. Some of our bigger providers would be like WIOA-Georgetown Tech, Millermont Technical College, and a couple others that are in the area. And we would basically make sure that our participants have fulfilled all of their registration and enrollment requirements with that provider and make sure that they're good to go for school. WIOA would be mainly used for, we are not going to leave you after school. We're going to stay with you because we want to make sure that you find employment, and we're going to make sure that you're job ready once you're done with school. So WIOA isn't just good for training. We do help with employment afterwards. But yes, classes aren't taken at WIOA, they're at an actual facility with a provider in the area.
So you, in other words, you refer them out to take. So I guess, with helping them, assisting them with applying to Horry-Georgetown Tech, or do you have an articulation agreement between Horry-Georgetown Tech and WIOA, which allow you to send the students to that technical school?
So for our schools and that, I would have to give you a little bit of an example to make it a little bit easier to understand. So if someone was going to go to Horry-Georgetown Tech, or they wanted to go to welding at Horry-Georgetown Tech, for example, we would help, of course, give them the information regarding how to apply, help them with their FAFSA if needed, making sure that we check off all those boxes before the first day of class. And then if that participant is not eligible for financial aid and has proven a need for financial assistance for school, WIOA would be able to write a voucher for that student, and we would send that directly to the school. We work with a liaison that's in that, all of our providers, as far as like maintaining contact about any concerns regarding the students or what they may need to be more successful in their program.
Okay, sounds great. So you also assist them with filling or completing a resume and cover letters and things of that nature, correct?
Yes, ma'am. We have due employees, which are located in all SC work sites. In addition to that, we also have WIOA career specialists that would be able to assist with resumes and cover letters. If you're just seeking to get assistance with that and you're not really wanting to go back to school, you just want to brush up on making your resume or your cover letter a little bit more specific to the job you're applying to, you're always welcome to come into the office and you can ask for that assistance specifically from an SC Works representative without any, there's no strings attached. If you need assistance with that, we'll help you out.
Oh, it sounds great. So are there any resources for getting the youth transportation to participate? Several youths live in the rural areas. I know in Georgetown and Williamsburg and Horry County. So how does that work?
So transportation reimbursement is given to dislocated workers, adults, and youth if deemed, that they need assistance with transportation. And as you said, if they live in a rural area and they need assistance with transportation, or it's going to cause a financial hardship on them to get back and forth to training, we would be able to assist them. It's really nothing that they would have to do to prove that, it's far, a certain amount of miles. WIOA simply just needs the provider's address or the training that they'll be going to and that participant's home address. And from that, we would be able to calculate what their daily rate would be for transportation reimbursement.
It sounds like a very excellent program for those youths that have dropped out of school and want to find their way back, to further their education. It sounds really wonderful. So let's talk about the youth. The youth face a lot of social influence that impact the way they dress, communicate, and how they perceive society. What is your plan? How can you overcome this when working with youth in that age group, so that they can meet what the company perceives them or would like for them to be? You can't just go into a job with your pants sagging, and you can't use street lingo when you're doing interviews. So how do you work with them in that area?
Well, one big thing that you said is, attire. I'm very big on that because what you wear, not only when you go into an interview, but even if you're going to inquire or to obtain information, what you're wearing is your visual resume. Before you even say anything to your main point of contact at that business or organization, they're looking at you, and I hate to say it, but they are judging you based on what you're wearing, or what you're saying. So we do have workshops that we have as far as what would be the proper dress code for interview, or what would you say if you want to follow up on an application? Because I know that those are things that I personally struggled with. I'm going to call this lady, I don't know what to say, and sometimes your nerves get the best of you. So just kind of getting our participants acclimated to being confident in making those phone calls and being able to walk into an organization and feel that what they're wearing is appropriate and that they will have a chance at getting that callback for that job. But I always tell my participants, what you do outside of work and, how you project yourself will follow you into your workplace. So you want to make sure that whatever you're putting out there into the world is the you that you're going to want your business or, your employer to see. You have to self-market yourself.
Yes, you do. You really do.
Yeah.
So I like to remind listeners, if you have any questions or comments, please post them or list them for us. The other thing I like to, we talked about incentives for youth, that there is, once they complete the programs, there are incentives for them.
Yes, there are incentives periodically throughout their participation in WIOA. So the first incentive that they would get would be for attending our boot camp, which is mandatory for our youth participants. Boot camp, as it is quotations around that, it is not physical boot camp. It would be virtually at this time due to the WIOA offices operating virtually with participants. And it's 3 days, and it would focus on those main workshops that we talked about. So soft skills, attire, interviewing, as well as resumes and cover letters. And in addition to that, if the participants feel that they have anything else that they need assistance with, they can suggest that. Another incentive that they would get would be for completing their training or obtaining their GED. And those would be the main two incentives that we give, and all incentives that WIOA gives are monetary. At this point in time, I wouldn't be able to give you the exact amount, but it would be monetary for youth.
Okay. So does WIA help with job search, and if so, how?
Yes, ma'am. We assist with job search through our SC work site, where jobs are posted from employers across the country, not across the country, and more specifically South Carolina. And we would be able to refer those participants to those job openings via SC work, and based off their qualifications and skills that they currently have. In addition, we do work with businesses in the area, and we try to make connections between our participants and the businesses. What better way to build up your community than getting the people that were educated here directly into the jobs in that area? So those people, they may be offered direct hire, just from completing their WIOA training, as well as they could be placed on a paid work experience. And that would basically be you are paid just like a regular employee. However, you're on a contract for in a certain amount of time. And at the end of that amount of time, you would be able to either accept a full-time job with that company, or you would be able to, go on and use those skills at another employer of your choice.
Would that be on the job training? Would that be considered on the job training, or is that something different?
So paid work experience would be a contract, but the on-the-job training would be a direct hire on the front end. And basically the employer, it would just kind of give you a little bit of more shadowing time with an employee with skill and experience in whatever occupation you'd be going into. And then at the end of your probationary period of that on-the-job contract, then you would be, promoted, you would say, to a regular full-time employee rather than a contracted on-the-job training employee.
All right, sounds great. So let's just, dislocated workers. When it comes to dislocated workers, is there an age requirement?
No, ma'am, there's no age requirement for dislocated workers. Dislocated workers are people that have lost their employment due to no fault of their own. For example, that would be our people that are experiencing layoffs due to COVID-19. You are a prime example of a dislocated worker. And as long as you can provide documentation that you do not have a return date at this time from your employer, you would be eligible for services.
Okay, so dislocated workers that participate in the WIOA program, can they still receive their unemployment
Absolutely.
payments?
Yes, ma'am. We at WIOA, we understand that those that are dislocated workers, their jobs are a little bit more transient, as in they can lay off and then come back periodically throughout the year. So those that come to us seeking training, we have an understanding that while you are on unemployment and awaiting, employment at this time, you may also be interested in finding training that will get you long-term stable employment. And we have a lot of those people that are coming in right now.
Okay, yeah, I can imagine. So, is there a segment of the population that get preference to these programs?
WIOA gives priority to, of course, dislocated workers in the area, veterans, spouses of veterans, as well as those of the low-income, high-poverty areas.
Okay, so a dislocated worker would go into the SC Works, and I guess would they refer that person to WIOA, or how does that work? When you walk in off the street to SC Works, do they actually refer the clients to you, or do you?
So a WIOA career specialist is in every SC Works office. If someone was interested in the program, they would just have to speak to the SC Works representative and say, I'm interested in training and I would like to speak to a WIOA representative. At that point in time, they would be connected right with us, WIOA, and we would go over the orientation and give them a little bit more in-depth information about the program.
Okay. So the orientation would come before. That's how you would decide whether that person would fit the program or be recommended to participate in the program. Would be after orientation.
Yes, after orientation would be the certification appointment, which would basically be an eligibility to deem if they are eligible for services through the program.
Okay, great. So I see that you also offer training to providers as well to work with the participants.
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
See, WIOA Works, it offers with training providers. You have training providers with Waccamaw Region that offers a number of training programs. So,
yes.
Okay.
With our providers, of course, a lot of the occupations that we provide assistance as far as financial assistance for training, there are a lot of the in-demand occupations in this area. So we want to make sure that if you're going to go to training right now, that when you get out of school, that you're able to find employment in that field. There are thousands of fields that are interesting and, they pay well, but will you be able to get your return back in the area that you're living in? You want to make sure that you're getting all that you can out of your training.
Right. So what are employees doing now to recruit people to work, even though we still have the coronavirus?
A lot of employers are, we just actually had a couple of phone calls from employers around the area that are seeking to hire employees during the COVID outbreak. And they usually just call us and they let us know, hey, we need X amount of people for this position. They are trying to be a little bit more mindful about how many people they're hiring and how that is going to look in the workplace. I find that a lot of them are even offering remote positions to start off with, at least to do, the onboarding process and to get those people acclimated to the systems that they're operating under, and then gradually, bringing them into the formal workplace under, of course, social distancing procedures and making sure that everyone in that workplace is safe.
Yes, that's very important. Being safe, distancing, and wearing masks, all that should apply right now. So, and speaking of the pandemic has created a lot of dislocated workers. Also, due to the pandemic, prisoners have been released from prisons. Does the program accept or benefit? Can those persons benefit from this program as well?
Absolutely. WIOA, the people that are recently released from incarceration, they would be the people that are in need to training to get them into a occupation as soon as possible. So we encourage them to come come to SC Work Center and speak to a representative so that we can help them, get back on their feet. Of course, we're going to meet you where you're at, and then we're going to make a plan of how we're going to get to your goal. And of course, making you aware of all of the resources that are available in the area, especially if you're recently released from incarceration. You may want to know a little bit more about what services can be offered to you that aren't broadcast widely, to everyone in the community. It may not be as accessible as you may have thought.
Can Can WIA guarantee employment to their participants?
We cannot guarantee employment. I always tell my participants that it's 50-50. What you give is what you get. So I work with my participants very closely on applying to jobs, reminding them to follow up, but I cannot make that employer choose a certain participant for a job. I can only assist that participant in, putting their best foot forward as far as their resume goes and making sure that they feel comfortable in interviews.
Okay. Some of the training that the participants get may leave a balance or something if some companies or programs are charging the students. You do not pay for that, correct? Any past due balance?
We would not be able to pay for any past due balances, but if there's a participant who is currently in school now, but will be, continuing their education in the fall semester, if they were to come to us now, we may be able to assist. But if it's current, we wouldn't be, or a past due balance, we would not be able to assist with that.
Okay. So due to the COVID-19, several persons have lost their businesses. Do you think that will have an effect on WIOA and the programs that they're offering?
The programs that we're offering as far as, assistance with training, none of our providers have closed down as of yet. They are all offering courses, either remotely or on modified schedules to make sure that there are a limited amount of people that are in a classroom at a time. But I do think that it may affect, in general, employment in the area. But as far as WIOA services, we will continue to assist those who are seeking and linking them with providers in the area for training if they are interested, or open opportunities around the area or even remotely that they may be interested in.
Have y'all had several self-employed persons to sign up for this program? Those that own their businesses that no longer have a business?
At this point in time, I have not had one. I'm sure in the past I did have one in the past, but due to COVID-19, I have not had one since. But they are encouraged, they would be dislocated as well.
Okay. So is there anything else you can tell us about WIOA that I have not asked you?
Let me see. A couple things would be that WIOA is not an entitlement or scholarship program, but we are here to help anyone who has a defined need. A lot of the work that we do will go towards whatever needs that you state and that you have demonstrated during your participation with WIOA. The biggest thing that I think is hard for participants to get over when they come into the program is that sometimes they're a little bit shy, or they don't, they're a little bit hesitant about opening up about what their needs are. But the only way that we'll be able to really help you is if we have a good understanding of what you need and what your goals are, so that we can work together to get you there. And I guess the last thing would be is you don't have to pay us back. Everybody thinks, you guys are giving all this money for school and X, Y, and Z. I'm going to get a check at the end of, or a bill at the end of the year saying I have to pay you back. No, these are federal funds that are given to us from the government to assist those that are seeking employment. And it's kind of, WIOA is a way to jumpstart our employment in this country. So WIOA is in every state. So even if you're not in South Carolina, it would be available to you.
Okay. So we have a lot of youth. You have ages 16 to 24 as the youth that you're working with. And 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds may not be familiar with WIOA. So what do you do there? How do you reach out to those students that they're not in school, they're not working? How do you reach out to them?
Prior to COVID, of course, we were doing outreach with organizations in the community that were working with our youth. And now we are just trying to mainly get them through social media, trying to promote our organization or program and make sure that they know what options are available to them, especially during this time when, a lot of people are not going out, they're staying at home, and just trying to give them something that they could possibly be working towards during this downtime. So we mainly just are working virtually with participants and trying to recruit people through social media.
I know you only deal with students that's not in school. But have the school been able to play a part in helping with students that have dropped out that might be looking to find a job or further their training or receive GEDs?
I am not completely sure as far as the high schools and such go. I know that they are still working with participants or students rather that graduated this last semester as far as helping them out with this transition into college because it is different now that everything or a lot of schools are offering things virtually. Um, However, I haven't heard anything specifically about them reaching out to students that have dropped out, but they are always welcome to come into WIOA. We do assist those that have dropped out of school as long as they are past the age, I think it's 16.
Okay. And so South Carolina Works website, will they be able to reach out to you through that? There's information on the website, I'm sure, pertaining to WIOA.
Yes, ma'am. If they were to go to the jobs.scworks.org site, they would be able to create a profile regarding WIOA, and that is used primarily to track their participation in the program. And it should also give them information about not only WIOA services, but services in our community that everybody can benefit from. The SC Works website is a great wealth of information. And we also have a couple of providers on there that offer online training for free that you can actually enroll yourself in on your own time and complete them at your own pace.
Okay. So do you collaborate with any other organization that works with youth between the ages of 16 and 24?
Yes, we work with a couple of organizations. I know GC3 in Georgetown, we've worked with them on numerous occasions. We've also worked with a Father's Place. I believe I had 1 or 2 participants from there that were in the youth program, as well as I think it's Goodwill that we work with, and a lot of the Helping Hands partners.
Oh, sounds great. Well, listen, you've been very informative this afternoon. You've given a lot of information. Those of you that's listening, you can reach out to our website, which is educateouryouth.info. And you can review this conversation again if you'd like to find out or you missed anything that she's talking about during the segment. And you can also go to our Facebook. Our Facebook search is at Educate Our Youth Info. Nade, it's been a pleasure talking with you, and you've been very informative. I hope we can do this again. So I will be good. I appreciate you coming out this afternoon.
Yes, ma'am, and I hope to be working with some of those listeners out there. Come on down to WIOA so we can start your Zoom out.
Yes, and you reach out to Educate Our Youth if you need her information or contact information.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, and have a great evening.
You too. Take care.
Okay.